Why do you park on a driveway, but you drive on a parkway? So summer sweep up, you know what I mean? You might have seen this. You probably have seen this. You might, and perhaps you've also been a summer sweep up at some point. What we're going to do here, they have posted a 75-page essay. So we're going to read every single word of it and talk about every word. And we're going to rate their grammar, and we're going to discuss if this should get a passing grade or not, just purely on vibes. So let me know let me know what you think about that. So this is a project rebalance. They have a nice little video that explains all of it in 8 minutes. And if you wanted to watch a worse but longer video, then you're already watching it. So that's what this is. But guess what? This video didn't have star cam in the top left corner. So we do be mining over here and enjoy it. Okay, so the other last housekeeping item. At the start of each video, I'm going to do a little comment of the last video. The top comment that I found was, do you know why you never see elephants hiding in trees? Because they're really good at it. So anyways, great comment. If you want to get on there, then put a funny comment. I'll probably put it at the end of the video moving forward. But yeah, the best comment is going to get called out. I got to call these out. They're pretty good. So, elemental weaknesses and Nipiko defense changes. NPC. NPC, if you put it all together, is Nipik. So these were added about a year ago, and there's a handy little spreadsheet with all of the things. So we're going to read all of these and talk about it. Here's the main ones. They are making it so more creatures are fitting more what they should be. In general, if something is a ghosty or like a wind kind of like a ghost or a Barrows creature, something like that, in theory you could blow it over with some air. Like you can just like and it's gone, you know what I mean? So that's what they're going to do there. Water weaknesses. This one is if it's a fiery boy like a Tazar or something like that, then you'll hit it with some water. They list the Great Omen here, kind of cool. Earth weaknesses. This one is if their exterior is too tough to crack, slam some earth magic into it. So that would be stuff like Dawn, Dusk, Giant Mole, Kraken, etc. That makes sense. I like what they're doing. They're making it so it makes sense what you cast spells on, because it's really confusing when I'm trying to think of like why a metal dragon is weak to earth spells. I guess if you have a metal dragon and you whip some rocks at it, it's gonna get bent and maybe punctured. So that kind of makes sense. And then fire weaknesses. Makes sense. Like if you burn a cobweb, then the spiders all die. So we got some Verzik, we got some Nilocas, we got some Spine-Deal, we have Venanitis, we have Saranchness as well. So stuff like that. Those are all going to be burnt up. And that's pretty much it for elemental weaknesses. They're going to adjust a bunch of those. NPC defense changes. This is talking about all kinds of changes that they're going to make, but the main thing is like flat armor system. If you don't know what that is, it's because you haven't really looked into how the bosses over in Varlamore work. So Moons of Peril, the bosses have flat armor damage. Some of them have negative and some of them have positive. If something has, let's see here. So if you're not in the know, a flat armor value of 2 means an enemy takes 2 less damage that you would have hit. Meaning if you would have hit a 10, they only take an 8. So if something has a high flat damage bonus, like a plus 10 or a plus 20, you want to use slower, harder hitting weapons. And you don't want to use the weapons that are like faster and rely on speed to get their damage per second. So a negative is the opposite. If something has a negative flat bonus, it means that you're guaranteed to hit that amount with each hit. So you might as well do a lot of little hits that all add up. So that would be a Scythe or a dual Hueycoatl, things like that. Those are all good. So they're just looking into doing some more of that, maybe, probably on some future bosses like the new Delve boss and whatever else is coming. But overall, that's kind of what we're cooking with. There's going to be a nice spreadsheet, weakness changes as I opened previously. There's different tabs. Current, proposed, and Delta, which are hidden behind the Starcam. Current, proposed, and Delta. You know what? I'll put Starcam right here. That's a good spot for it. Current, and then proposal, and then delta, if you don't know what delta means. That's what it's been changed to. So like an aberrant specter has changed to being weak to air. That makes sense. It is a ghost, and if you blow on a ghost, it gets blown away. The logic is there somewhere. They're going to add some negative 40 crush defense to Agrith Nana, stuff like that. So I think if we look at the Great Olm, G for Great, the Great Olm, it's going to be weak to Earth spells now, or something. I don't know. Anyways, we'll get some more DPS calcs on that in the future, and that'll be fun. So moving along from that, loot table changes. Okay, Jigglyplex put in a 2% tax on all Grand Exchange offers a couple days ago. That is up from 1%, which is to save the economy. Let's put it that way. A Dexterous Prayer Scroll, currently. You know what, let's open up one. Dragon Pickaxe, view real-time prices. This is the best thing of all time ever, and they're a mill. If we want to have this worth more money, we could do a couple of things. You could make it so they're rarer. We're not going to change the drop rates on the Dragon Pickaxe. You could make it so you need to like give Dragon Pickaxes to someone for something. Maybe you combine 5 of them. Maybe they add charges to Dragon Pickaxe. Like, we don't want to do any of this. Easiest thing is you don't even think about it, and the price goes up naturally over time because they sync them from the Grand Exchange. When people buy a Dragon Pickaxe, they will be charged 2% tax, which will be 50k, if my math... Yeah. No, what? It'll be an amount of dollars, and then it will take that money, and once there's enough, once 50 of them have been sold, then you'll have enough money to buy a Dragon Pickaxe with the tax that has been taken. So then you'll buy a Dragon Pickaxe, and you'll sync that out of the game. Some things don't need to be synced, so... For example, like nature runes, fire runes, like sharks, like things like that. Like we eat sharks, that's the item sync. So any tax taken from that will actually go back onto other things. So that's how they're going to keep prices in check. The Osmumpton's Fang, there we go, is 18.5 mil because they were 11 mil. And then they talked about this, so now they're up to 18. They've talked about syncing these more, and they've also talked about changing the drop rate on that one. So that was a twofer. So the loot table changes in general. They want to change a lot of nice little things. Torstal Seeds, Chaos Runes, what else we got in here? They talked about some things like that. So let's check out this handy spreadsheet. A lot of drop changes here as well. Zulrah, for fish, they will adjust it so instead of getting a noted drop of sharks, you have a 50-50 whether you actually get sharks or if you get shark chum, C-H-U-M. If you get the C-H-U-M, it's the same as the diabolical worms from Yama. You will catch sharks faster in the future, which is smart. Kind of, I guess. It makes fishing, like actually fishing for sharks, better than killing Zulrah for sharks, which should make sense. Muspa, same as above. Brimstone chests, like all these things, they're making it so fish come into the game less. Gems will come into the game less. Nerf right across the board. Grotesque Guardians, no one wants to do it, so we're going to buff it. Runes, nerf all of these ones, like a 1,000 Chaos Runes from Vorkath down to 250. It might be worth crafting Chaos Runes for money now. Herbs and Seeds, TOA, you're changing the numbers and you're nerfing stuff. You're losing 40% of the Toadflax, Raynar, Torstal, Snapadragoonus, all these things. Those are all getting nerfed. Now, there will be some buffage going on here as well with the Cerberus, Giant Mole, Thermonuclear Smoke Diavel. So things like that will be adjusted, buffed, and nerfed here and there. So that's all good and dandy, I think, personally. No problems there. So they talk about the shark chum. That's going to get memed for sure. But anyways, that covers a lot of it. The only other thing would be Soul Wars crates are insane for supplies. The meta on like an early Iron Man, not meta, I use the term loosely. Very, very powerful to just get your account to Soul Wars, get raffle stomped by kids with full ancestral barraging you, and die a bunch. But whatever, you get points, and then you buy the crates, and then it just gives you a Dragon Scimitar and 7 billion coal and 400 nature runes. They're just gonna change this so that you basically don't get much from these anymore, which is good. We should be playing mini games for fun. We should not be playing mini games for rewards. I will die on this hill. I'm good with cosmetics. I don't want anything else to come from them. It's tough because something like Last Man Standing, no one would play if there wasn't a reward for it. It would take forever to get games going. So to counteract that, there's bots. I would not hate if Jagex went in and like banned all the bots that are in LMS and put their own bots. Develop an NPC that acts like a PKer, that has mechanics that are randomized somehow, where it might, like, it's going to switch prayers when it sees your weapon. It's going to do it. Like, just take a bot. Just make bots, but turn them into NPCs so you can keep games going, and then you're like, oh, damn, I'm playing against a top player. And then the bots are, like, not good enough to win. But the point of LMS is, like, to get better at PKing, I thought. Like, it's fun, but I don't know, it's such a sick minigame, and I love it. It's just flooded with bots, but I don't think the answer would be to do, like, add NPC bots. I think the answer is make it more fun so more people do it, and that would be good. Or put a pet on it. Who cares? I don't know. Pet hunters. The pet rate will still be good from Soul Wars crates. So, Tombs of Amascut changes. I actually had pre-planned another video. Subscribe if you want to see any other videos from me, by the way. Hit a like button, do all that, whatever you gotta do. Do I still have the picture? No, I don't have the picture. Okay. I had another video coming of Tombs of Amascut. All the problems with it. I was going to talk to my friend Churchy Boy about that, because he just completed TOA on his Iron Man account. He's also completed on a main account, and he's done like 1,000 TOA. All like 500s, he's done 300s, he's done 150s, he's done banana 5s. So he's very well versed with it, and I've done enough to know that I don't like TOA because of how it all works. So luckily, Jagex has listened, and they've got some changes that they want to propose here. So another video will come where we really deep dive into this, but overall, they're going to make it so Protect from melee mitigates all damage at Baba, unless you have an invo that makes it so it doesn't. But you just won't run that. That specific invo is very bad. Baba spawns fewer baboons, but they also will die from any hit from an attack style. It was so annoying when you get on a baboon immediately, and it takes you 4 hits with your fang, and by that point it's opened up a sarcophagus, and you're like, bruh. Jungle Japes is turned on. Baboons will drop more bananas on death to account for the reduced number of baboons. So that's kind of fun. I like Jungle Japes because it's like, I don't know, it's just fun. Like, slipping on a banana in a video game is just something classic about that. Damage from thrown debris is now fully shifted onto anything you split the damage with. So boulders, sarcophagi, anything. So that's good. You'll split the damage there. We're hoping that these tweaks make the fight feel more fair and engaging with mechanics. So you're not going to have to Red X anymore. You're just going to have to do the mechanics of the room, which is good. Akka. There's a certain phase of Akka that is unenjoyable to 99% of players. There is skill to dodging the Akka orbs. I promise. It's not just random and unfair, but it doesn't feel fun to like anyone. So protection prayers will mitigate more damage from Akka. It's good to have chip damage. Listen, some bosses you need chip damage. The way TOB works is that you bring in supplies, you try and bring as much gear as you can while balancing how many supplies you bring. You want to make it so you've got enough to last all of the rooms and get to the end. You get a couple little supply drops along the way, and then the final boss fight is, like, in a hard mode top at least, is you're rushing to kill the boss before you die to its constant 15s, 16s, 17s. But it's not just like, the main mechanic isn't the chip damage. The main mechanic is we have to rush to fight this spider that keeps doing these really difficult special attacks in order. And the sooner we kill it, the better it is. If we kill it before the yellow spots on the ground, that's great. If we kill it before the green orb comes out and hits someone for 185 damage, that's great. Whatever it is. Great designed boss. When there's just random chip damage from something like Akka, and you're just not gonna die, then it's bad. Like Vardorvis, they chip your damage down so that you can die from the axes being thrown, but it just doesn't feel fun because you have to eat so much. Okay, Stay Vigilant will be getting a small rework, swaps attacks more frequently, stuff like that. I really shouldn't read all of this, but Akka's going to be much more fun and more good. Kefri, the magic defense on the soldier scarabs will be reduced. The scarabs will not scale their defense with the raid level, which is good. The arcane scarabs are going to move after a certain number of attacks, regardless of if they hit or not. So that's another really good one. Just super simple changes to make the raid a little bit more fun. Zabak, you're no longer going to get pushed by a wave, but it will deal more damage. I think that's totally fine. When you got pushed by a wave, it immediately was like you're thrown off and you don't know what to do and you just guess I'll die. But now if it's just like tank a hit for yeah, like tank a hit but run through and know where you're going to end up, that could be a thing that you do in a certain scenario. You're like, you know what, I'm just going to take the wave. Skull bombs during P2 can no longer land underneath the active warden or the obelisk. This killed a few hardcore Iron Men. It's very confusing. When you can't see where the skull is going to land, it hits you, it feels bad, but to me it's like just a skill issue, so that one's fine to me. I don't know. The puzzles, they're going to change some of the puzzles. Cursed Baboons and Baboon Shamans will always take max damage from range, bypassing accuracy. Their HP will be increased slightly to compensate, but it should feel better. 2 waves of monkey assailants will be removed from the path of Apmekan. The amount of water required for Corondus doesn't scale linearly with the number of players, meaning there's less pressure on your beginner friends to get it right or be stuck watching their crocodiles. Yeah, like you can do Corondus in 2 runs to get water, but as soon as you have someone that doesn't know how to do it, it's 3 runs, 4 runs, 5 runs. So that's kind of a nice change. Hit points of the obelisk, the path of head are slightly reduced so that 1 downs don't require boosting above 99 mining. Very good. I like it. Okay, so TOA miscellaneous changes. The big pot of the Nexus will become fully functional deposit box. You no longer need to use items on the pot, which is great. Any drain stats will be restored at the end of a boss fight. I like that. Smelling salts will reapply their boost as they expire. That's a cool change. Okay, here's the big kahunas. TOA loot changes. They're going to nerf some things. They're going to buff some things. A lot of text. The grammar was good, at least, but it's a lot of text. They're going to change the Fang and the Light Bearer. This is what they're thinking. We don't know what the changes will be yet. We have options. We could swap the weighting of the Fang and Light Bearer with the Elidenis's ward. We could reduce some of the loot scaling at the top end. We could blanket reduce purple chances across the board. There's a lot that we could do, so let's see where our heads are at to make a plan. Here's what I would do. Hindsight 2020. This is probably not doable without uproar. I had proposed a chaotic longsword as a TOA reward before TOA was announced, basically. I was thinking a cool longsword that's super accurate, that out DPSs the scythe on high defense monsters, but knowing the economy of RuneScape and knowing this exact problem would happen, I was hoping that this imagine example, it's as common as an Avernic from TOA, or it's as common as a Dex, but it degrades. Like if the Fang had 50,000 charges when you buy it, that will take you probably a year or 2 to go through, so it won't feel that bad, but eventually it's gone. Or you like combine stuff to make it infinite. I don't know what to do with that. So here's what I would potentially consider, and I'm not sold on this either. What if the Fang degrades, you give it 20,000 charges, and to add more charges to it, you can give an NPC any drop from TOA, and it will apply 20,000 charges. So a Light Bearer, you would apply that to the Fang to give the Fang more charges, and it's a weird item sync. I don't know. Something like that. It's very similar to Death's Coffer for GP, whereas this would be specifically TOA items, like a ward. If it's worth 3 mil, instead of buying a new Fang, you just give the ward to a person, and then that person fixes your Fang and gives it 20,000 charges back. That's what I would have done 2 years, 3 years ago. I don't think you can do that now. So what could you do? Reduce the purple rate by no more than 10% across the board. Make it so it caps the purple rate increase around 400, maybe 425. If you're doing a 425 or above, it's now just more defense for infinitely better purple chance and more HP. Like, I think if you're doing over 425, just have it so you're doing that for fun, or you're doing it for the challenge, or you're doing it for the cosmetics. But if you're trying to get purples, you would just max out the top level of like 400, for example. And then anything after the 400 is just like for a flex or for a this or that. That's what it should have always been. Maybe they could do that change now. So that would reduce how quickly purples come into the game, because people farm shadows a lot in 500s right now. This also would incentivize people to do lower invo raids with friends. It's hard to get a group of multiple people doing a 500 because it just doesn't work very well. But you could do big groups in a 400 because it's more forgiving. So it's a MMORPG, like it's a group thing. So that's what I would do there. You can leave the Fang. You don't need to swap it with the Ward, because the Ward is like it's kind of useless. The only thing that I could see of changing the actual drop rate would be the Ward is 1 in, I want to say 1 in 8, 1 in 12. I'm gonna look it up. Elidenis's Ward. 1 in 8. I had it right. So 1 in 8. Why don't you make the Fang 1 in 5, the Light Bearer 1 in 5, and the Ward 1 in 5, and that could help. If there's anything, you could put charges on a Light Bearer, so every time you spec, it takes a charge, and that could be a way of syncing those. Again, all of this to say, they've raised the tax on the GE and they're going to sync more items. That might be enough. We're going to move on. Phosani's Nightmare. Mechanically, one of the most enjoyable solo encounters in the game. I personally agree with that. Some people who don't like it or haven't done it enough or whatever, you get to the point where you can perfect the kills consistently and it feels so rewarding just killing it. You're like, oh, that was a clean one. Like, that's why we play the game. At least I do. So the fight drags on a little bit long because it's 4 identical phases and then a final phase. They're just going to remove a phase. So that just inherently will add... It's going to be roughly 20% faster. It might be even a bit more than 20%, because the final phase is faster anyways. So I like that. It's just simple. Keep making the drop rates more common. They butchered these drop rates beyond insane how badly they made the drop rates for this boss. And they've been so slow at trying to fix them that they just are like, I'll just take the drop rates down a little bit. Oh, I'll take them down a little bit more. The counter argument here is make them better. Like, make all of those items better or give them a better use so that people want to use it more often. I don't know. It's in a weird spot, but this helps a little bit. Next, these are some small changes to Nex that will make it more gooder. Certain things like you can damage it during transitions up to a threshold, so you don't get nulled when you proc a ruby and it doesn't count. That sucks. You'll hit the threshold in a mass, but you won't see much reduction in the kill times since they're already so fast. Adjust some of the behavior in downtime phases to let players heal up without feeling punished. Okay. Make her melee attack a little bit stickier during all phases. That means if Nex uses a melee attack, she will use it 2 more times before swapping. This is like single-handedly the best thing they could have done. That barely changes Nex, but makes it so much more fun and easier. If you're in a 6-man and Nex mages, all 6 of you are taking a 15 to 17, and it's reducing your prayer, and then everyone cries, and everyone brews, so now you're not boosted, so now your stats are 20% worse, so now the boss takes 20% longer, and the kills get longer, and it's just like, that's the snowball effect of Nex. In good teams, you avoid brewing at all cost, and you're able to kill it faster simply because of that. So this is really nice. If Nex melees you, it only melees 1 person, and both of those hits are negated. So you're no longer taking 3 mage hits times 6. You're taking 3 melee hits, not times 6. So huge adjustment to how many brews you're going to need there. Reduce the damage dealt by your magic attack in the final phase if you turn on Protect from Magic late. So if you're not praying already, you can still mitigate damage with the quick reactions. Yeah, I like it. If the boss mages, it's now going to calculate damage a tick later is what I read from that. Not looking to adjust next as a fight, but giving you a couple more avenues to reduce the damage. I like it. It's good. It should make it more fun to do in 2 to 5 minutes. Hueycoatl. We're gonna keep pushing through this. If you're here 25 minutes in, you're the GOAT. Drop a funny comment and I'll post it in the next video. So Huey, we'd like to improve the tail phase with clearer visuals and bringing down the tail's hit points so that you can get back to hitting Huey in the face and body again, which is what you're all here for. So yeah, that's good. A little more complicated is figuring out who Huey is for. As far as equipment and unique drops, you can snag yourself a Dragon Hunter wand and some Huey hide to make a set. Problem with the wand is it's outperformed by all other things. Dragons aren't killed that often beside the KBD, Vorkath, Hydra, or Olm. At that time, you're already tackling those foes. You have better gear. So it makes a nice niche weapon that's on the weaker side, which is a hefty grind for its target audience. So this boss was so far from what they promised for it, and it's a shame because I like Huey. It's enjoyable because I can do it with friends and it's reclined content. You can literally not eat and not dodge mechanics in this boss. Just switch your prayer a few times and you probably won't run out of HP and you can eat up between kills. Like it's chill. So they want to make the wand more powerful, but they also want to improve its drop rate and make some adjustments to the Huey hide also. Yeah, so they're trying to just make this so it's for mid-level accounts, really. The bonus damage versus dragons from the Dragon Hunter wand would go from 20 to 40%. The bonus accuracy versus dragons will go from 50 to 75. The ability to autocast ancients, there will be certain maybe dragons that you want to autocast Blood Barrage on, for example. Make the wand 3 times as common. You'd see 1 in every 69 kills, nice, rather than 207 if you're soloing. So they're adjusting the drop rate because people are soloing a group boss and complaining that it takes a long time. If you are soloing with 3 alts on a max account, you're getting 10 kills an hour. It's a 20-hour drop rate for a Dragon Hunter wand. It's on par with a DH Lance, Dragon Hunter Lance, and it's much more common already than a Dragon Hunter crossbow. I have no issue with it being 207. If you make this thing good, people will be willing to do that many kills for it. That's really not that... Like, if you do trios, you're getting like 20 to 30 kills an hour. More like 20. It's closer to 20. But that's not that crazy for the drop rate. Like, it's a 20 to 30 hour grind for a very, very powerful weapon. If you're making it more powerful, then it's worth getting. I don't know. That's crazy. Like, how often do they do that? Like, imagine they just say, yeah, by the way, we're going to make the Lance 3 times as common at Hydra. And better. It's crazy. I don't like that. Improve the rate of Huey hide from 1 in 35 to 1 in 30. When you get the hide drop, you'll always receive 3. I don't think that's needed at all. But here we are. Lower the crafting requirement on the hide armor, making it easier to make than Black Dragon hide, but it's harder to obtain. That is smart for Iron Man. Like, it should be something that when you're level 60, 70, you go kill Huey, you have a very rare chance at a wand that's really powerful for you, because killing dragons at a mid-level account sucks. Make it so that it's more fun to kill dragons, but make it so you gotta grind, like 20, 30 hours. That's fair. If it's only 69 kills, it's a 10-hour, 8-hour grind in a solo. Lower the crafting requirement. Oh, we already read that. Coupled with the Great Omen being given an Earth Elemental weakness, we should position the Dragon Hunter wand as a much more impactful unlock, but it will still be outperformed by high-tiered power staves later on in your journey, which benefits its rarity and relative to new security. Okay, so I like it. Kind of. There's like good and bad in that, but that's just personal opinion, so that's good. Perilous Moons and Defensive Rings. This one kind of lost me a little bit. I was confused. So when we're talking about Moons of Peril, we want to add a new reward to aid players getting into it. Offering powerful armor sets and weapons in all 3 styles, the Moons will become a staple in progression. But with damage mitigating strategies like step unders, it's still possible to take a real beating there, even if you're wearing your tankiest gear. But that's good. That's what the boss is. Okay. To that end, we'd like to add a defense-focused ring somewhere to aid players in racking up kill count at the Nepotsuli, while giving some use to a boss that doesn't offer much, the Deranged Archaeologist. So the Deranged Archaeologist, let's look him up. Let's look Deranged Archaeologist. This man is on Fossil Island. No one kills him. There's no uniques. You can get some nice drops here. I mean, if you're doing an Iron Man and you want a black Dragonite body and you're not a clue guy, there you go. If you want, I don't know, Dragon Arrows for some reason, then you go. There you go. Otherwise, Runite Limbs is the main one here. But the Runite Limbs, guess what? You need 75... That's not wrong. Yeah, you need 69 fletching to build it. And it's just, eh. So, overall, the Deranged Archaeologist could use a new drop. If it drops a new ring with 20 stab, 20 slash, 20 crush defense, it's good. What does a Suffering have, you ask? Ring of Suffering imbued. It also has 20, 20, 20. So I'm automatically picturing this ring will be sick for... sick means good, by the way. This will be very good for things like Deadman mode and PKing. It's probably going to be a cheap tank ring that you can use, so kind of cool. But here's what the difference is. The lad here has 20 magic and 20 range defense, the Suffering does, and 4 prayer bonus. So not an issue. It's not going to hurt the value at all. But it is nice. So this new ring will have some nice stats. And I'm all for it. The Granite ring will get a little buff too. Obor and Bryophyta keys. Obor and Bryo will no longer require a key to be fought. Obor and Bryo will drop their own respective keys. Each of them is given a reduced simple loot table. I'm picturing instead of like 1 in 128 for the Bryo's essence, they're going to make it like 1 in 1,000 from Bryo. But you get key drops from them. Loot tables similar to regular giant variants with a chance at giant bosses. Okay, yeah. Giant bones. They're going to have giant bones, which is a nice chunk of prayer XP when buried. If this is a good new way of training prayer, I'm all for it. Inside each of their layers is a chest requiring giant or mossy keys to open, whose loot table is the same as the existing one. The chest can only be opened after the boss is defeated. So, kind of cool. Yeah, they're changing some things. I like it. It's a good solution. Cerberus. This one is like, it's not a big deal. Okay, so Lava Pool is only going to hit its tile. It's not going to hit all over the place, and they're going to be easier to react or predict. Improve the rate of Keymaster Teleport Scrolls, and make them tradable. Ward of Arceus will reduce the incoming prayer drain by demons by 30% for the ghosts, which is good. That's straight buff. So it will stack with the Spectral. Duke, you are now going to be able to prep 3 kills of Duke at a time. I don't know why they've picked 3 and not infinite. I guess they're trying. I just would rather they pull the band-aid off and make it so you can prep infinite kills. Like, you have an inventory. You can't fit that many bottles of Duke, offspring stuff. Like, whatever you chuck at it, the poison thing. So, if you just made it so you can prep as many as you want, but it has to fit in your inventory, people would just get in their trip, they'd prep like 10 kills, and then they'd do their thing. I don't hate that, but that would also feel kind of crappy. So, I don't know. This is fine. They're going to bump up HP by 10% to compensate for being able to prep less, because it will be faster. Overall, will be faster kills per hour still, but the upped HP will make it so it's not like 30% faster. It's only going to be like 10% better. So that's good. Other changes. There's some crazy things in the other changes, and I appreciate you sticking on with this this long. The Tonal Stick of Raylos will be increased by 1 range. Who cares? Halberds will be able to hit Aviancies. Who cares? We'll be able to hit Kriara with a Noxious Halberd, because that will be incredibly good. Demon Bane weaponry will work on Ice Demon. So yeah, it's still going to be Fire Surge Biss, but I will be bringing a Ember Light to my raids, or if it's better, I will bring a whatever the bow is, a Scorching Bow. Add some kind of indicator drop for successful rolls on the vestiges dropped by Desert Treasure 2 bosses. This, I grinded out 2,300 kills at Vardorvis to get my vestige on an Iron Man, and I spent 6 months doing it, because I'd log in, I'd do an hour, I'd log off, and I'd just quit for the day. So some people will grind all of this all at once, and that's fine. Like, this game is circled around grinding, and it's the rings are so good. So it's worth them being rare and take a while to get. The only thing is that people don't like knowing, are you 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, or what? Would this change anything? I guess. I wish they pulled this. I think this would be good to pull. I'm curious. I'll put a poll on Twitter. Check out my Twitter. The link is in the description. Okay, players with a Grandmaster combat achievements done will be able to show their Zuck helm to the Tazar to gain an on-task damage bonus while off-task, without getting any of the on-task benefits such as Slayer XP or the pet increase. So that's for speedrunners. This is specifically for the top 1% of the 1% who love speedrunning Jad and Zuck and whatever, but it's you no longer need a task. Kind of nice, kind of cool. Whatever, not a big deal. Grandmaster, this one is a big change. They're going to make it so instead of needing Grandmaster for 2-minute thralls, you only need Master for 2-minute thralls. I like this. I'm sorry to all of you GMs that want like crazy upgrades. It's supposed to be a cosmetic flex that is fun to go for because it's challenging. Currently, they make it so Nex meta is gated behind Grandmaster, and thralls are just 25% better. Like, it's just quality of life. Summoning a thrall more often is just quality of life. It doesn't change anything else. Please don't cry over this. Yes, I am a master, not Grandmaster, but that is because I literally don't care because the rewards aren't that cool, and I'm not a guy that likes to flex achievements. It doesn't do anything for me. I think it used to, and now I just don't care what other people think about my in-game player. That's why I de-ironed also. So, it's a good change. Tidy up magic attack animations in PVM scenarios so they don't visually delay a player's movement. I kind of liked that. It was kind of old school, but what can you do? That's a wrap. That's a good update. That's a wrap. I don't know what that means. Okay, so a lot to unpack. Okay, overall thoughts right here. Stop posting blogs this long, please. For the love of all things good. Remember when they did the daily reveals for leagues? That was awesome. Imagine they're like, we're doing a summer sweep up, daily reveals. Reveal number 1, we're going to change elemental weaknesses. Reveal number 2, we're going to do NPC defense changes. Reveal number 3, loot table changes. Reveal number 4, TOA change. Like, that would be a hype week where they're revealing what they're going to do. Now you can get everyone talking about specifically, I'm going to click randomly here. We're going to talk specifically about the changes to Shark Chum. Okay? Now, no one's going to talk about that because everyone's going to talk about the TOA drop rates and the Huey wand and the this and the that. And it's just going to be, it's diluting the amount of positive and, like, constructive feedback they can acquire from this. Overall, it's it's an A from me. This is an A. It could be an A+. There's a couple of things that I obviously said, like, I personally don't feel for or whatever, but it's great. The game is, we want it to last, let's say 10 more years. That's the goal. It's halfway in its life cycle. Players are now having kids, and their kids are going to play Group Ironman with their dads and their moms. And you want it to be fun. You want it to be well fleshed out, and it's just fix all the garbage and make the game fun. A lot of this is aimed at making the game fun. It is fun having a good economy. It is fun having meaningful elemental weaknesses and like knowing how this, like, it feels like a medieval game. That makes sense. All of that together is just, it's a positive update, and I appreciate it. Let me know what you think in the comments or Discord. You can join the Discord. There's a link in the description of this to join the Discord. In the general chat, we talk about stuff like this. When a blog gets posted, everyone starts yapping in the Discord talking about what's good and bad. So that could be something that you could do. Otherwise, subscribe, like, and comment, and go hug your ex-wife's boyfriend's former roommate's dog, Charles. Okay, bye!